welcome. As the world outside grows quiet and the sharp edges of the day begin to soften into shadow, it is time to let your mind drift. Settle into your comfort. Feel the weight of your body release into the stillness and prepare to journey into a story woven from whispers and wonder. We love to imagine where these stories travel, finding listeners in different corners of the world as the night unfolds. If you feel so inclined, we would be delighted if you would leave a comment, letting us know where you are listening from and what time it is for you. And if you find a peaceful moment here with us, please do consider subscribing so that you'll be gently notified when we have future stories to share. Tonight, our story is one of quiet footsteps and moonlit eyes. It is the story of a creature that is, itself, a master of rest, a living embodiment of tranquil repose. We are going to explore the world of the domestic cat, uncovering 100 fascinating truths woven into a single, flowing story that wanders through history, biology, and legend. From the granaries of ancient Egypt to the very edge of space. Simply allow the words to wash over you like a gentle tide. Let the images form and fade without any need to hold on to them. The journey is long, so please feel free to drift away into sleep whenever it arrives for you. And let us begin. The world of the domestic cat is one of startling diversity, a rich tapestry woven from more than 100 distinct breeds, each with its own unique history and characteristics. From the sleek, hairless Sphinx to the luxuriously coated Persian, the sheer variety of these creatures speaks to a long and intimate relationship with humankind, a partnership that has shaped them into the companions we know today. Consider a gathering of these animals, perhaps in a sun-drenched city square or a quiet barn. A congregation known not as a pack or a herd, but as a clouder. The term itself evokes a sense of close, almost conspiratorial community, a fitting descriptor for these often enigmatic animals who live alongside us, yet always seem to retain a core of wild independence. The life within such a clouder, and indeed the life of a solitary house cat, is a journey whose length can vary dramatically. Yet one individual feline stands as a testament to remarkable longevity. A cat named Cream Puff, who lived in Austin, Texas, reached the astonishing age of 38 years, a lifespan that far exceeds the norm and rivals that of some larger mammals. Her long life was a quiet epic, a journey through nearly 4 decades of human history, from the late 1960s to the early 2000s. Her existence challenges our very perceptions of the feline lifespan, suggesting that under the right conditions, these small carnivores can possess a truly surprising resilience and vitality. For most cats, however, life is not measured so much in its total length as in its daily rhythm, a rhythm dominated by rest. A staggering 70% of a cat's life is spent in slumber, a commitment to sleep that translates to roughly 16 hours out of every 24. This is not mere laziness, but a deeply ingrained evolutionary strategy. As natural predators, cats conserve their energy for the crucial moments of the hunt, which typically occur during the twilight hours of dawn and dusk. Their sleep is a complex state, cycling between a light, watchful doze from which they can spring into action in an instant, and periods of deep, restorative slumber. It is in these quiet, sleeping hours that the cat consolidates its energy, preparing its body for the explosive bursts of activity that define its waking moments. And what activity it is. An awake and alert cat is a marvel of biomechanics, an athlete of extraordinary capability. It can leap vertically to a height of 5 times its own body length, a feat that would be akin to a human jumping over a 4-story building. Imagine a small cat, perhaps no more than 30 centimeters, or about 1 foot, tall at the shoulder, effortlessly ascending to the top of a bookcase that stands 1.5 meters, or nearly 5 feet, high. This incredible power is generated by its highly muscular hind legs and a spine of remarkable flexibility, allowing it to launch itself with a combination of force and grace that seems to defy gravity itself. This physical prowess is guided by a sensory system of exquisite refinement, most notably its vision. Relative to the size of their bodies, cats possess the largest eyes of any mammal, luminous orbs that are perfectly adapted for a life lived in low light. These large eyes, with their wide pupils that can open into near-perfect circles, are designed to gather every available photon of light, granting them a visual acuity in the dimmest conditions that is 6 to 8 times greater than our own. This allows them to navigate a moonlit garden or a darkened room with an assurance that is both beautiful and slightly eerie to human observers. While their world is less vibrantly colored than ours, their perception of movement and their ability to judge distances in near darkness make them supremely effective hunters. Yet, it is not only their eyes that hold a unique story. Look closer, at the very tip of the feline nose, and you will find a feature as individual as a human fingerprint. The moist, leathery pad of a cat's nose is covered in a pattern of tiny ridges and bumps, a unique topography that is distinct to each and every cat. No 2 nose prints are alike, offering a potential method of identification as reliable as any other biological marker, a secret signature written upon their very face. This profound individuality is, of course, passed down through generations, and the feline life cycle begins remarkably early. A female cat, still a kitten herself in many ways, can become pregnant as young as 4 to 6 months of age. This rapid maturation is an evolutionary inheritance from their wild ancestors. for whom swift reproduction was essential for survival in a world filled with predators and uncertainty. This biological imperative ensures the continuation of the species, but it also highlights the delicate balance between the wild nature of the cat and its place in our domestic world. This intersection of worlds, the wild and the tamed, has long fascinated humans, including some of history's greatest minds. It is said that Sir Isaac Newton, the 17th century physicist and mathematician who laid the foundations of our understanding of gravity and motion, was also a practical inventor in his own home. Deep in his studies at the University of Cambridge, engrossed in experiments that required a darkened room, Newton was reportedly vexed by the constant interruptions of his cats scratching at the door, demanding to be let in or out. His solution was brilliantly simple and enduring. He cut 2 holes in the door, a larger one for the mother cat and a smaller one for her kittens, thus inventing the cat flap. This small, domestic innovation, born from the mind of a genius, serves as a charming symbol of our long-standing effort to accommodate the independent natures of our feline companions. This accommodation, this act of bringing cats into our homes, has a profound and measurable impact on their lives. The average lifespan of a cat kept exclusively indoors is around 15 years, a considerable length of time filled with comfort and security. In stark contrast, a cat that lives its life outdoors, exposed to the elements and the myriad dangers of the wider world, has an average lifespan of only 3 to 5 years. This vast difference is a sobering reminder of the hazards, traffic, predators, disease, and conflict that outdoor cats face, and a powerful testament to the sanctuary that our homes can provide. Beneath the soft, patterned fur of every house, cat beats the heart of a tiger. This is not mere poetry, but a profound genetic truth. The domestic cat, our familiar companion, shares a remarkable 95.6% of its genetic makeup with the Panthera tigris, the largest and most formidable of all the great cats. This shared ancestry is a deep river that flows through millennia, a biological inheritance that whispers of moonless nights on the Asian steppes and the silent, patient stalk of prey. The 4.4% of genetic material that separates the purring feline on our lap from the roaring predator of the jungle is the result of thousands of years of domestication, a subtle but significant rewriting of the genetic code that has scaled down its size, softened its temperament, and adapted it for a life alongside humans. Yet, the ghost of the tiger remains, evident in the cat's every instinct and movement. We see it in the low crouch as it watches a bird in the garden, in the sudden, explosive burst of energy as it chases a toy across the floor. This burst of energy is a direct echo of its larger cousin's hunting prowess. A domestic cat over a short distance can achieve speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, or about 48 kilometers per hour. A stunning acceleration that allows it to ambush prey with devastating efficiency. This is a speed that can match that of a human sprinter at their peak, a reminder of the raw athletic ability coiled within that small, lithe frame. This incredible speed is guided by a sensory apparatus of breathtaking sophistication, particularly its hearing. A cat's ears are not passive receivers of sound. They are active, highly mobile instruments of detection. Each external ear is controlled by no fewer than 32 individual muscles, compared to the mere 6 that govern our own. This complex musculature allows the cat to rotate its ears independently through 180 degrees, swiveling and twitching them like miniature satellite dishes to pinpoint the exact location of a sound with astonishing accuracy. They can distinguish between sounds that are only a few inches apart from a distance of many yards, isolating the faint rustle of a mouse in the undergrowth from the general murmur of the wind. This auditory acuity is complemented by a unique visual system. While we may think of cats as having perfect vision, they are, in fact, quite nearsighted. Objects in the far distance appear blurry to them, a world of soft edges and indistinct shapes. But this is not a weakness. It is a specialization. Their vision is optimized for the close quarters of the hunt, for the final, critical moments of an ambush. In this near field, their vision is exceptionally sharp. Furthermore, their eyes are built for the twilight world they inhabit. Their superior peripheral vision gives them a wider field of view than humans, and their legendary night vision, born of a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, allows them to see with clarity in light levels that would render us completely blind. Their sensory world extends even to the tips of their paws. Beyond the familiar, long whiskers on their face that help them navigate tight spaces and sense air currents, cats possess another, less obvious set of whiskers on the backs of their front legs. These are known as carpal whiskers, and they serve a vital purpose in the hunt. When a cat has captured its prey, these whiskers provide crucial tactile information, telling the cat whether the animal is still struggling and helping to position it for a precise and effective killing bite. This intricate, deadly perfection of the natural hunter stands in fascinating contrast to the world that humanity has built around the cat. Our affection for these animals can reach extraordinary heights, sometimes blurring the lines between pet and person in ways that are both touching and eccentric. Consider the story of Blackie, a cat who, in 1988, became the wealthiest feline in history. His owner, a reclusive antique dealer named Ben Rhea, passed away and bequeathed his entire fortune, amounting to £7 million, which was equivalent to about $12.5 million United States dollars at the time to his beloved companion. This act, while unusual, speaks volumes about the profound bond that can form between a human and a cat, a bond that in this case transcended even death, ensuring a life of unparalleled luxury for a small black cat. This deep connection is not a modern phenomenon. For a long time, it was believed that the ancient Egyptians were the first to domesticate cats, but a discovery on the Mediterranean island of Cyprus pushed the timeline of this relationship back by thousands of years. In a Neolithic village, archaeologists unearthed a grave that was 9,500 years old. In it lay the remains of a human, and buried carefully in the same grave, only a short distance away, was the complete skeleton of a cat. The deliberate nature of this joint burial strongly suggests that the cat was not merely a wild animal that had wandered into the settlement, but a cherished companion, a pet, who was laid to rest with its human. This discovery rewrote our understanding of feline domestication, revealing a partnership that began long before the first pharaohs ruled Egypt. When these creatures are born, they arrive in a group known not as a litter, but as a kindle, a word that suggests warmth, light, and the start of something new. This kindle of kittens enters a world where their relationship with humans can take many forms. In one of the most unexpected of places, Disneyland Park in Anaheim, California, a managed colony of feral cats thrives. These felines are not mascots or exhibits. They are a silent, nocturnal workforce. By day, they are rarely seen, but at night, they emerge to patrol the park, their natural hunting instincts providing an effective and environmentally friendly form of rodent control. The park staff care for them, providing food, veterinary services, and ensuring they are spayed and neutered, a truly symbiotic relationship in the heart of a modern fantasy world. Yet, no culture revered the cat quite like the ancient Egyptians. For them, the cat was a sacred animal, the earthly embodiment of the goddess Bastet. To harm a cat was a terrible crime, often punishable by death. When a family's cat passed away, the household would enter a period of deep mourning, and as a public display of their grief, all the family members would shave off their eyebrows, a visible and profound testament to the animal's exalted place in their hearts and their society. A kitten enters the world a creature of pure potential, swathed in an encompassing darkness and a profound silence. For the first week or two of its existence, it is completely blind and deaf, its senses sealed against the overwhelming rush of the world. It is a being of pure touch and scent, navigating by the warmth of its mother and the familiar smell of milk. Its tiny body, a fragile vessel of nascent life. This helplessness is fleeting, a temporary state before a rapid and wondrous awakening. As its senses begin to bloom, so too does its physical form develop. Its mouth initially toothless, begins to sprout the first set of 26 tiny, needle-sharp, deciduous teeth, often called milk teeth. These are the tools of a playful but burgeoning predator, allowing the kitten to begin experimenting with solid food and to engage in the mock battles with its littermates that are, in reality, crucial training for the life of a hunter. This initial set of teeth is not meant to last. As the kitten grows into an adolescent, these are gradually pushed out and replaced by a full adult set of 30 permanent teeth, a formidable arsenal designed for seizing prey, tearing meat, and defending its territory. This dental transformation is a rite of passage, marking the transition from dependent infant to self-sufficient hunter. As this young cat learns to navigate its world on paws that are becoming increasingly steady, its fundamental anatomy comes into play. The typical feline architecture dictates a total of 18 toes, a precise and efficient arrangement. There are 5 on each front paw, including the dew claw, which is set higher up on the leg and acts like a thumb for gripping, and 4 on each back paw, providing a powerful and stable base for running, jumping, and climbing. But genetics, in its endless inventiveness, sometimes adds a flourish, bestowing upon some cats the condition known as polydactylism. These cats are born with extra toes, giving their paws a broad, mitten-like appearance. This harmless genetic mutation has long been associated with good fortune, particularly among sailors who believed these cats, with their wider, more stable paws, were superior mousers and brought good luck to their voyages. This belief was famously shared by the 20th century American author Ernest Hemingway, whose former home in Key West, Florida, is now a sanctuary for a thriving colony of his cat's polydactyl descendants. As the young cat matures, another, more subtle characteristic may emerge, a preference for one paw over the other, much like human-handedness. Scientific studies have observed a fascinating and subtle division between the sexes in this regard, with male cats showing a marked tendency to be left pawed, while females more often favor their right. This lateralization of motor function offers a glimpse into the intricate wiring of the feline brain, suggesting that, like us, their hemispheres are specialized for different tasks. This growing cat, now equipped with its adult teeth and established paw preferences, begins to engage in the complex social rituals of its species. To the uninitiated, some of these behaviors can seem baffling, even rude. When a cat trusts a person or another animal, it will often turn and present its rear end, its tail held high. This is not a sign of disdain, but rather one of profound confidence and friendship. In the animal kingdom, this posture is a gesture of vulnerability, exposing an area that is both defenseless and rich in personal scent from the anal glands. By offering this, the cat is essentially saying, "I trust you enough not to attack me, and I invite you to confirm my identity through my unique scent. It is a feline handshake, an offering of personal information that is a cornerstone of cat etiquette. Even the most mundane of actions, such as drinking, is performed with a secret elegance and a surprising command of physics. A cat does not simply scoop water into its mouth. Instead, it lightly touches the surface of the water with the very tip of its tongue, and then retracts it with incredible speed. The underside of its tongue, being smooth, creates a column of liquid that flows upward due to a combination of adhesion and inertia. Just as this column reaches its peak, the cat snaps its jaw shut, capturing the water before gravity can pull it back down. This entire process is repeated about 4 times per second. A delicate, almost invisible ballet of fluid dynamics that allows the cat to drink efficiently without getting its chin wet. As we consider the vast array of cats in the world, we find that their genetic code can produce stunning variety. From the gentle giants to those with striking, and sometimes linked, physical traits. The ragdoll, for instance, stands as one of the largest breeds of domestic cat. These magnificent animals, known for their docile and placid temperament, can weigh as much as 9 kilograms, or about 20 pounds, and stretch to a length of over 100 centimeters, nearly 40 inches, from nose to tail tip. They are a testament to selective breeding, gentle behemoths of the cat world. On the other end of the spectrum of genetic expression lies a striking genetic linkage that connects coat color, eye color, and hearing. A cat with a pure white coat and 2 brilliant blue eyes has a high probability of being born deaf. This occurs because the gene responsible for the white fur and blue eyes can also cause a malformation of the cochlea, the part of the inner ear responsible for hearing. It is a beautiful but poignant example of pleiotropy, where a single gene influences multiple, seemingly unrelated traits. The profound affection these creatures inspire is not a recent development. In the mid-19th century, during the tumultuous years of the American Civil War, the White House was home to a devoted cat enthusiast, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. He was so fond of his cats, Tabby and Dixie, that he was known to feed them with a golden fork from the dinner table during formal state dinners, much to the consternation of his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln. For a man bearing the immense weight of a nation at war, the quiet, unconditional companionship of his cats was clearly a source of profound comfort and solace. In the silent, nuanced language of the cat, the tail is a primary instrument of expression, a fleshy semaphore that communicates a rich spectrum of emotion. Of all the signals it can send, a gentle, quivering motion at the very tip is perhaps the most eloquent and endearing. This is not a gesture of agitation or fear, but one of the highest forms of affection a cat can bestow, reserved for those beings, human or feline, with whom it shares the deepest bond. It is a sign of happy excitement, a physical manifestation of the cat's pleasure in your presence, a quiet declaration of love that is often accompanied by a soft purr and a gentle headbutt. This level of trust, where the cat feels secure enough to express its unguarded affection, can also be seen in its posture during moments of rest. A cat that snores softly, its body relaxed and defenses down, is a cat that feels utterly safe in its environment. The ultimate display of this trust, however, is when a cat rolls onto its back, exposing its soft, vulnerable belly. This is the most defenseless position a cat can assume, leaving its vital organs completely unprotected. By performing this gesture, the cat is communicating absolute confidence in your intentions, a profound belief that you pose no threat. It is a sacred offering of vulnerability, and to betray that trust is to deeply damage the bond between human and cat. This bond is often forged through vocal communication, and while we may not speak their language, they are remarkably attuned to ours, particularly to the sounds of their given names. Cats appear to be more responsive to names that end with a high-pitched E sound, like Misty or Lucy. This preference is likely due to the fact that this sound falls within a higher frequency range, making it more distinct and easier for them to discern from the lower frequency background noise of human conversation. The ee sound also mimics the high-pitched chirps and squeaks of their natural prey, tapping into a deep, instinctual part of their auditory processing. While cats are adept listeners, they are also master vocalists themselves, possessing a repertoire of sounds that is astonishing in its complexity and breadth. A cat can produce approximately 100 different vocalizations, a rich and varied language of meows, purrs, chirps, hisses, and growls. This vocal range is a stark contrast to that of dogs, their canine counterparts, who can only manage about 10 distinct sounds. This vast difference highlights the nuanced and sophisticated nature of feline communication, a system designed not only for interacting with other cats, but one that has been specifically adapted over millennia of domestication to communicate effectively with their human companions. In fact, the familiar meow is a sound that adult cats rarely use with each other. It is a behavior that appears to be almost exclusively reserved for communicating with humans, a vocal tool developed to get our attention, to solicit food, to request that a door be opened, or simply to greet us. It is a learned behavior, a testament to the cat's intelligence and adaptability, a specific and deliberate manipulation of our own communicative tendencies. Perhaps the most iconic and mysterious of all feline sounds is the purr. This low, rumbling vibration, which has a frequency range that falls between 25 and 150 Hz, is uncannily similar to that of an idling diesel engine. While we have long associated purring with contentment, its true nature is far more complex. Cats also purr when they are in pain, distressed, or even dying, leading researchers to believe that it serves as a form of self-soothing and, remarkably, a method of self-healing. This theory is supported by the fact that the frequencies at which a cat purrs are known to promote bone density and healing. For a small predator that relies on speed and agility, the ability to rapidly recover from injuries would be a significant evolutionary advantage. Their sensory world is not just one of sound, but also of sight. And while they can perceive color, their vision is fundamentally different from ours. They are, in essence, partially colorblind. While humans have 3 types of cone cells in their retinas, allowing us to see a full spectrum of colors, cats have only 2. This means their world is painted in a more muted palette, primarily in shades of blue and green, with reds and pinks appearing as shades of green. However, what they lack in color perception, they more than make up for in their ability to see in low light. Their night vision is approximately 6 times more powerful than a human's, a remarkable adaptation that transforms the darkened landscape of the night into a clear, navigable world. This is a direct inheritance from their wild ancestors, who were primarily crepuscular hunters, most active during the twilight hours of dawn and dusk. This ancestral link traces back thousands of years to the Fertile Crescent of the Near East. It was here, around 3,000 years before the Common Era, that the ancient Egyptians are believed to have first formed a symbiotic relationship with the African wildcat. As their agricultural society developed, vast stores of grain attracted rodents, which in turn attracted the wildcats. The Egyptians, recognizing the cat's value as pest controllers, began to welcome them into their homes and granaries, marking the beginning of a long and storied partnership between our 2 species. This relationship was so successful that it fundamentally altered the cat's daily routine. While their wild ancestors spent the majority of their time on the move, hunting and patrolling their territory, the modern, well-fed house cat has the luxury of rest. A healthy adult cat will spend a remarkable 15% of its life in a state of deep, non-REM sleep, a testament to the safety and security of the domestic environment, a peaceful slumber in the cradle of a partnership that began in the granaries of ancient Egypt. In the coastal cities of New England, particularly in Boston and its surrounding ports, a curious genetic legacy persists, walking on silent, broad paws. It is remarkably common in this region to find cats with 6 toes, a charming anomaly known as polydactyly. This prevalence is believed to be a direct result of the area's maritime history. Sailors, a famously superstitious lot, considered these multi-toed cats to be lucky charms, their wider paws supposedly giving them superior balance on the rolling decks of ships and making them more effective hunters of the vermin that plagued every long voyage. These seafaring felines were carried from port to port, and the high concentration of polydactyl cats in Boston is likely a founder effect, a genetic bottleneck created when a small number of these cats established a new population, passing on their unique trait through generations. This focus on their paws, however, reveals a deeper truth about their specialized anatomy. The claws of a cat are marvels of biological engineering, retractable hooks perfected for climbing, traction, and hunting. Yet, this perfection comes with a curious and significant limitation: the very shape that makes their ascent so effortless. A sharp, downward curve designed to grip and pull makes a head-first descent impossible. Due to the direction their claws curve, a cat cannot climb down a tree headfirst. To get down, it must back down, carefully placing its paws and using its claws as anchors, or it must resort to jumping from a safe height. This anatomical constraint is a rare chink in their otherwise flawless armor of agility. And this high degree of specialization is not limited to their paws. It is equally evident in their most vital hunting tool, the jaw. The feline jaw is a marvel of specialization, a biological machine perfected for a single purpose. A cat's jaw is strictly limited to an up and down motion, like a simple hinge. It cannot move from side to side in the grinding motion that characterizes the jaws of herbivores or omnivores. This is because the cat is an obligate carnivore, its entire physiology designed for the consumption of meat. Its teeth are not for grinding plant matter, but for seizing, killing, and shearing flesh from bone. This finely tuned carnivore has, against all odds, become the most popular pet in the United States, a nation of animal lovers. It is estimated that a staggering 40 million households in the country have at least one cat, a testament to their deep integration into the fabric of American domestic life. Their ascendancy is even more striking when compared to their canine rivals. While dogs have long been considered man's best friend, cats have quietly surpassed them in sheer numbers. Current estimates place the pet cat population at around 88 million, comfortably outnumbering the 75 million pet dogs that share American homes. This demographic shift may reflect changing human lifestyles. The cat's inherent independence and lower maintenance needs make it an ideal companion for smaller living spaces and for individuals with busier schedules. Their ability to thrive in our world, to navigate its dangers with a combination of stealth, agility, and an almost preternatural awareness, has fueled one of humanity's most enduring myths about them: the belief that a cat has 9 lives. This folklore is not born of a single source, but is rather a confluence of observations and cultural associations. Their remarkable writing reflex, which allows them to twist their bodies in midair to land on their feet, enables them to survive falls from heights that would be lethal to most other creatures. This uncanny resilience, combined with their historical association with ancient Egypt, where gods were said to have 9 lives, likely cemented this legend in the popular imagination. This mystical aura surrounding the cat is so potent that it has even found its way into religious and creation myths. According to a fascinating piece of Hebrew legend, the cat owes its very existence to a moment of crisis aboard Noah's Ark. As the story goes, the Ark was overrun with rats and mice, which were threatening to consume all the stored food and doom the survivors of the Great Flood. In desperation, Noah prayed to God for assistance. In response, God caused the lion to sneeze, and from this powerful, explosive sneeze sprang forth the first cat, a perfect and fully formed hunter that immediately set about controlling the rodent population, thus saving the inhabitants of the Ark. Whether in myth or in our living rooms, the cat continuously seeks to bridge the gap between its world and ours. And one of its most common and meaningful behaviors is the act of rubbing its head against people. This is not simply a display of affection. It is a profound act of marking and ownership. Cats have scent glands located on their forehead, cheeks, and chin, and by rubbing these areas against a person's legs or hand, they are depositing their unique pheromones. This act, known as bunting, is the cat's way of claiming you as part of its social group, of mingling its scent with yours to create a single, communal colony scent. It is a declaration that you are family, a trusted member of its inner circle. This deep, instinctual behavior is governed by a biology that is in some ways profoundly different from our own, particularly in its perception of taste. A subtle genetic mutation, a tiny error in their genetic code, has rendered every domestic cat, and indeed all felines, completely incapable of tasting sweetness. The gene responsible for producing the protein that detects sweet flavors is broken in cats, a silent legacy of their purely carnivorous ancestry. For a hunter that eats only meat, there is no evolutionary advantage in being able to identify ripe, sugary fruits. And so this sensory ability was simply lost to time. While their tongues are blind to sugar, their spirits have long been a subject of fascination in other cultures. In Japan, it is widely believed that as cats age, they can acquire supernatural powers, transforming into super spirits. These mystical beings are known as bakaneko, or changed cats. According to folklore, an older cat's tail might split in two, at which point it becomes a nekomata, an even more powerful entity. These spirit cats are said to possess great wisdom, the ability to speak human languages, and even the power to shape-shift, weaving themselves into the rich tapestry of Japanese folklore as figures of wonder, mischief, and sometimes profound power. The story of the cat in the Americas is a tale of migration, a journey not of their own choosing, but one dictated by the expansion of human civilization. It was not until the 1750s that cats were deliberately introduced to the continent by European colonists. They were not brought as pampered pets or cherished companions, but as working animals, biological tools enlisted in a desperate war against the rats and mice that infested the holds of ships and the burgeoning settlements of the New World. These feline pioneers, valued for their relentless, predatory drive, played a crucial role in protecting the precious and often meager food supplies of the early colonists. Their silent nocturnal hunts a vital service in the struggle for survival. Over the centuries that followed, many of these cats and their descendants transitioned from valued workers to feral wanderers, forming self-sustaining populations that now inhabit the continent's wild and urban landscapes. The feral cat population in the United States alone is a shadow society of staggering size, with estimates suggesting it could be as high as 70 million individuals. These are not stray pets, but truly wild animals, born and raised without human contact, subsisting on the margins of our world. A vast, hidden clouder that is a direct legacy of those first cats who crossed the Atlantic on colonial ships. Their instinct for stealth and their keen, almost supernatural senses have occasionally thrust them onto the stage of human history in the most unexpected of roles. At the Dutch embassy in Moscow during the Cold War, a period of intense and pervasive espionage, two Siamese cats became unwitting counterintelligence agents. The staff had noticed the cats were persistently meowing and scratching at one of the embassy walls, their behavior agitated and insistent. Initially dismissing it as a simple feline quirk, their curiosity was eventually piqued. An investigation of the wall revealed the source of the cat's disturbance. Hidden inside were sophisticated microphones planted by Russian spies to eavesdrop on the embassy's affairs. The cats, with their incredibly sensitive hearing, had been able to detect the faint, high-frequency sounds or vibrations emitted by the electronic devices, sounds that were completely inaudible to their human companions. This remarkable incident serves as a testament to the acute sensory world of the cat, a world that extends far beyond our own limited perceptions. Our partnership with these creatures is ancient, with evidence now suggesting that the process of domestication began far earlier than the Egyptian civilization that so famously revered them. Archaeological findings in the Fertile Crescent point to a symbiotic relationship that began as early as 3,600 years before the Common Era. As humans transitioned from nomadic hunter-gatherer societies to settled agricultural communities, our grain stores became a powerful magnet for rodents, and in turn, for the wildcats that preyed upon them. A tacit agreement was formed, the beginning of a long journey of co-evolution that would transform the solitary wildcat into the domestic companion we know today. A cornerstone of this relationship is the cat's ability to to recognize and respond to the voice of its owner. Studies have shown that while a cat may react with a general alertness to the sound of any human voice, it displays a specific and more pronounced reaction, such as turning its head and ears toward the sound when it hears the voice of its primary caregiver. This is not simply a response to a familiar sound, but a clear sign of recognition, an auditory confirmation of a social bond. This bond, however, does not negate the cat's deep-seated wilt instincts, which often manifest in its body language, particularly in its defensive postures. The classic Halloween cat pose, with its arched back, fluffed up fur, and sideways stance, is a powerful and unambiguous signal. This is not a playful gesture, but a serious defensive display designed to make the cat appear as large and intimidating as possible to a perceived threat. The piloerection, the bristling of the fur, is an involuntary reaction that dramatically increases the cat's apparent size, while the arched back and sideways orientation present the largest possible profile to an adversary. It is a primal and visceral warning that says, "Back off. I am bigger and more dangerous than you think." Our modern fascination with cats, with their blend of elegance, ferocity, and charm, is so profound that they have become stars of our newest forms of media. Yet, our desire to capture their captivating antics is not a new phenomenon. The earliest known cat video, a brief but delightful piece of cinematic history, dates all the way back to 1894. Titled Boxing Cats, the short film was created in the Black Maria Studio, the pioneering film production studio established by Thomas Edison. The footage shows two cats wearing tiny boxing gloves, playfully sparring in a miniature boxing ring. This whimsical spectacle, created in the very infancy of motion pictures, reveals that our desire to film and share the charming and often comical behavior of cats is as old as the medium of film itself. This deep connection we feel may be rooted in a surprising biological similarity. The sections of the brain that govern emotion in cats are structurally very similar to the same regions in the human brain. This shared neurological architecture suggests that cats may experience a range of emotions, fear, joy, affection, in a manner that is analogous to our own. While we may never know the precise nature of a cat's subjective experience, this biological parallel offers a tantalizing hint of a shared emotional landscape. This emotional complexity is paired with a significant cognitive ability. While dogs, with their history of cooperative pack behavior, often exhibit a higher social intelligence, studies have shown that cats are capable of solving more complex cognitive problems, particularly those that require independent thought and an understanding of cause and effect. This independent problem-solving ability is a direct inheritance from their solitary hunting ancestors, for whom the ability to outwit prey and navigate complex environments was a matter of life and death. This inherent intelligence and mystical aura were not lost on the ancient Egyptians, for whom the cat held a place of unparalleled reverence. Their respect for these animals was codified in their laws. In ancient Egypt, the act of killing a cat, even accidentally, was considered a heinous crime. The punishment for such an act was often death, a stark and powerful reflection of the cat's sacred status as a living embodiment of the divine. This was a society that understood, perhaps better than any that followed, the profound and enigmatic power held within the small, graceful form of the feline. In the intricate and often subtle world of feline social dynamics, even the most mundane of biological functions can carry profound meaning. The act of covering one's feces is a deeply ingrained instinct in cats, a behavior learned from their wild ancestors for whom hiding their scent was a crucial survival strategy. A buried scent trail made it more difficult for larger predators to track them, and also prevented them from alerting potential prey to their presence. In a domestic multi-cat household, this behavior also serves as a sign of deference. A subordinate cat will meticulously cover its waist as a way of showing respect to the more dominant cat, effectively making its presence less conspicuous in the shared territory. Conversely, when a cat deliberately leaves its feces uncovered, it is not a sign of laziness or a lapse in cleanliness, but a bold and unambiguous declaration of dominance and aggression. By leaving its scent exposed, the cat is broadcasting its presence, marking the territory as its own, and issuing a potent challenge to any rivals. It is a powerful statement in the silent, scent-based language of feline politics, a clear signal that this particular cat views itself as the ruler of the household. This primal nature, this echo of the wild, is a thread that runs through all feline breeds, but it is particularly evident in the Egyptian Meow. This breed is one of the oldest and fastest of all domesticated cats, a living link to the felines depicted in the art and hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt. The name itself, Meow, is simply the Egyptian word for cat, a testament to its foundational place in feline history. With its elegant, spotted coat, it bears a striking resemblance to the African wildcat from which it is descended, and it retains much of that ancestor's athleticism. The Egyptian Meow is capable of reaching speeds of over 30 miles per hour, or 48 kilometers per hour, making it the swiftest of all domestic cats. Its speed is a result of a unique anatomical feature, a flap of skin that extends from its flank to its hind leg, which allows for a longer stride and extraordinary agility. This combination of ancient lineage and raw physical prowess makes the Meow a captivating embodiment of the cat's journey from the wild hunters of the Nile Valley to the cherished companions of the modern world. This hunting instinct, so beautifully preserved in the Meow, persists in even the most pampered and well-fed house cats, It often manifests in a behavior that can be both endearing and slightly gruesome to their human owners. The presentation of prey. When a cat brings a dead mouse or bird into the house and deposits it at its owner's feet, it is not a macabre gift. Rather, it is an expression of a deep-seated instinct to teach and to provide for its family. In the wild, a mother cat will bring injured or dead prey back to her kittens, first to provide them with food, and later to teach them the essential skills of hunting. When a domestic cat performs this behavior with its human, it is acting on this same pedagogical impulse. It is, in its own way, expressing concern that its large, clumsy human companion is an inept hunter and is in danger of starving. The offering of prey is the cat's attempt to teach you how to hunt for yourself. A misguided, but ultimately affectionate gesture that acknowledges you as a member of its social group, a family member in need of instruction. The reproductive drive that ensures the continuation of these instincts is a force of incredible biological power. A single, unspayed female cat, over the course of a 10-year lifespan, can be responsible for an astonishing number of descendants. Factoring in the litters she produces and the litters that her female offspring will go on to produce, the total number of kittens can reach as high as 49,000. This exponential growth highlights the critical importance of spaying and neutering in managing feline populations and preventing the widespread suffering that results from uncontrolled breeding. The perception of these cats, however, varies dramatically across different cultures. In North America, the black cat has long been saddled with a superstitious burden. Viewed as a harbinger of bad luck, a familiar of witches, and a creature of ill omen. This unfortunate association, rooted in medieval European folklore, continues to affect adoption rates for black cats in American shelters. In stark contrast, in the United Kingdom and Australia, the black cat is considered a symbol of good fortune. A black cat crossing your path is seen as a sign of good things to come, a welcome and auspicious event. This cultural dichotomy is a powerful reminder that our interpretations of the natural world are often shaped more by our own histories and beliefs than by the inherent nature of the animals themselves. Underpinning all of these behaviors and beliefs is a truly remarkable piece of biological engineering: the feline spine. A cat's spine is a model of flexibility and strength, composed of 53 loosely fitting vertebrae, a significant number compared to the 34 that make up a human spinal column. This greater number of vertebrae, coupled with highly elastic cushioning discs between them, gives the cat its signature fluidity of movement, allowing it to twist, turn, and contort its body in ways that seem to defy the normal constraints of anatomy. This flexibility is complemented by a unique gait. When a cat walks, its back paws land in almost the exact same spot as its front paws. This direct registering gait, common to many predators, minimizes noise, and leaves a clearer, less cluttered trail, making the cat's movements both stealthy and efficient. This physical grace is sometimes accompanied by a peculiar and inherited quirk, a sensitivity to a plant called catnip. The euphoric, playful, and sometimes aggressive response to the chemical nepentolactone found in this member of the mint family is a hereditary trait. Not all cats carry the gene for this sensitivity, and for those who do not, the plant is nothing more than ordinary greenery. Our enduring fascination with all aspects of the cat, from its spine to its unique sensory reactions, has made it a muse for artists in every medium, most famously in the world of musical theater. The beloved Broadway musical Cats, one of the longest-running shows in history, is based not on a grand narrative or historical event, but on a whimsical collection of poems by T.S. Eliot titled Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, a testament to the timeless and universal appeal of these enigmatic creatures. In the Kishi River Valley of southeastern Japan, nestled in the picturesque Wakayama Prefecture, a train station has become a site of pilgrimage, not for its architectural beauty or historical significance, but for its station master. This is no ordinary public servant, but a calico cat named Nitama, who holds the official title and even wears a custom-made station master's hat. She is the successor to the original feline station master, Tama, whose appointment in 2007 saved the struggling Kishigawa train line from financial ruin. When Tama passed away in 2015, she was mourned as a goddess of the railway, and her apprentice, Nitama, took up the mantle. This charming and heartwarming story, where a cat serves as a beloved public figure and a powerful economic engine for a rural community, is a vivid illustration of the deep and often whimsical ways in which cats have integrated themselves into the fabric of human culture, transcending the role of mere pets to become icons. This cultural integration is so profound that it has even shaped the very words we use. In the Hungarian language, the term for quotation marks is maxskakorom, a word that literally translates to cat claws. This evocative and delightful piece of linguistic trivia paints a perfect picture, equating the curved, sharp shape of the punctuation marks with the grasping, enclosing nature of a cat's claws. A small but beautiful testament to the way these animals have pounced their way into the very structure of our expression. The physical capabilities of these creatures are, in many ways, as remarkable as their cultural impact. The domestic cat is fundamentally a desert animal, having evolved from the African wildcat, a species perfectly adapted to the arid landscapes of the Near East. This evolutionary heritage has endowed them with a remarkable and surprising ability. They can drink seawater, while a human who attempts to quench their thirst with salt water would become severely dehydrated. A cat's kidneys are so efficient that they can filter out the salt and extract usable fresh water from the sea. This incredible physiological adaptation allows them to survive in environments where fresh water is scarce, a biological superpower hidden within our seemingly ordinary household companions. Despite this ability, their relationship with another common liquid is far more fraught. The popular image of a cat happily lapping up a saucer of milk is a persistent and biologically inaccurate myth. The vast majority of adult cats are, in fact, lactose intolerant. As kittens, they produce the enzyme lactase to break down the lactose in their mother's milk. However, once they are weaned, the production of this enzyme dramatically decreases. For an adult cat, consuming cow's milk can lead to significant gastrointestinal distress, including cramps, gas, and diarrhea. This misunderstanding, however well-intentioned, highlights a common pitfall in our relationship with animals: the tendency to project our own dietary habits and preferences onto them. The inner world of a cat is a complex tapestry of instinct, learning, and memory. They possess both short-term and long-term memory, with their recall abilities being surprisingly robust. A cat's short-term memory can span up to 16 hours, allowing it to remember recent events, the location of food, or the presence of a new object in its environment. This is significantly longer than the short-term memory of many other animals, and it plays a crucial role in their ability to learn and adapt. Their long-term memory is even more impressive, particularly when it comes to experiences that are tied to strong emotions, whether positive or negative. A cat will long remember the kindness of a gentle hand or the trauma of an attack, and these memories will fundamentally shape its future behavior and its relationships with humans and other animals. This complex mental life is accompanied by a unique and still mysterious form of self-care. The purr, that gentle, vibrating hum, is increasingly believed by scientists to be a form of self-healing. The vibrations produced by purring fall within a frequency range of 25 to 150 hertz, a range that has been shown in other scientific studies to have therapeutic effects on living tissue. These low-frequency vibrations can help to increase bone density, reduce inflammation, and promote the healing of soft tissue injuries. For a small predator that engages in the high-impact activities of jumping, pouncing, and fighting, the ability to engage in a low-energy, passive form of physical therapy would be a significant evolutionary advantage, a built-in healing mechanism that is as comforting as it is physiologically beneficial. Their perception of the world is largely driven by taste and scent, and while their sense of taste is relatively limited, a cat's tongue has only 473 taste buds, compared to the more than 9,000 on a human tongue. Their other sensory organs are exquisitely refined. One of their more curious features is the presence of a third eyelid a thin, pale membrane that is technically called the nictitating membrane. This extra eyelid, which can be seen sweeping across the eye from the inside corner, serves several vital functions. It helps to keep the cornea moist, provides an extra layer of protection from dust and debris, and can also help to shield the eye from injury during a hunt or a fight. In a healthy, alert cat, this membrane is usually retracted and not visible, but its appearance can be a sign of illness or injury, making it a useful diagnostic indicator for veterinarians. This array of unique biological features, from their salt-filtering kidneys to their healing purr and protective third eyelids, is all a product of their evolutionary journey as desert-dwelling predators. This origin story is also the key to understanding their drinking habits. Because they evolved in arid environments where water was often scarce, cats developed a low thirst drive and an incredible ability to conserve water, deriving much of the moisture they need directly from the bodies of their prey. This ancestral trait persists in our domestic cats, which is why they often drink very little water, and why a diet of wet food, which more closely mimics the moisture content of their natural prey, is often recommended for their overall health. They are, in every sense, creatures of the desert, carrying the legacy of a sun-scorched landscape within their elegant and enigmatic forms. The sensory landscape of a cat is a world fundamentally different from our own, dominated not by sight, but by the rich, complex, and invisible tapestry of scent. The part of a cat's brain that is dedicated to processing smells is, in proportion to its total brain size, significantly larger than the corresponding area in a human brain. This neurological investment is complemented by a nasal cavity lined with a vast and intricate network of olfactory receptors, giving the domestic cat a sense of smell that is approximately 14 times more powerful than ours. This powerful sense is augmented by a secondary and highly specialized olfactory tool, a small but remarkable structure in the roof of their mouth known as the Jacobson's organ. When a cat encounters a particularly interesting scent, especially the pheromones left by another cat, it will often exhibit a peculiar behavior known as the Feline response. It will raise its head, curl back its upper lip, and open its mouth slightly, appearing to grimace or sneer. This is not an expression of distaste, but a highly efficient method of drawing air over the Jacobson's organ, allowing the cat to essentially taste the scent, gathering a far more detailed and nuanced profile of the chemical information left behind. This dual scenting system makes their olfactory world a place of profound depth and information, a constant stream of data that shapes their social interactions, their hunting behavior, and their very understanding of their environment. This superior sensory input guides a body that moves with an almost magical ability to navigate the narrowest of ledges with a silent, confident grace. This extraordinary equilibrium is not governed by a single organ, but is the result of a beautifully integrated system involving their inner ear and their long, expressive tail. The vestibular apparatus within the inner ear, a complex arrangement of fluid-filled canals and chambers, acts as a biological gyroscope, constantly sending the brain information about the head's orientation in three-dimensional space. The tail then acts as a dynamic counterweight, adjusting its position to fine-tune the cat's center of gravity. Much like a tightrope walker uses a long pole to maintain stability. This exquisite balance works in concert with a spine of almost legendary flexibility, a feature that enables a cat to twist and bend its body into an astonishing variety of positions. This suppleness is due to the large number of vertebrae, 53 in total, that make up its spinal column. But it is the structures between these bones that are the true secret to their agility. The intervertebral discs, the cartilaginous cushions that separate the vertebrae, are exceptionally elastic and well hydrated in cats. These discs act as powerful shock absorbers, protecting the spine from the high-impact forces of jumping and landing. And they also allow for a much greater range of motion between each vertebra than is possible in most other mammals. This spinal architecture is the key to one of the cat's most famous and seemingly supernatural abilities, the righting reflex. This is the innate capacity to orient itself during a fall so that it almost always lands on its feet. This is not a single reflex, but a complex and lightning-fast sequence of movements. As soon as a cat begins to fall, its vestibular system in the inner ear detects the lack of equilibrium. It then initiates a chain reaction of neural signals. First, the cat rotates its head to an upright position. The rest of the body then follows, with the spine twisting to bring the front half of the body into alignment, followed rapidly by the rear half. The cat then arches its back to absorb the shock of the landing and brings its legs underneath its body, creating a stable and cushioned platform for impact. This entire sequence happens in a fraction of a second, a breathtaking display of neuromuscular coordination that is a testament to millions of years of evolutionary refinement. The internal machinery that powers these incredible physical feats is just as remarkable. A cat's heart, the engine that drives its athletic body, beats at a rate that is roughly twice as fast as a human's, typically ranging from 150 to 200 beats per minute at rest. This rapid heart rate allows for the swift circulation of oxygen-rich blood to the muscles, enabling the explosive bursts of speed and power needed for hunting. This high-performance cardiovascular system supports a body that is a symphony of unique anatomical features. Their faces, for instance, hold a unique signature. Just as no two human fingerprints are alike, each cat has a whisker pattern that is entirely unique to it. The follicles from which the whiskers grow are arranged in a distinct pattern on each side of the muzzle, a subtle marker of individuality. Even their method of regulating body temperature has a distinctly feline character. While cats can sweat to a limited degree, their primary method of cooling down is through their paws. The pads of a cat's paws are one of the few areas on its body that contain sweat glands, which is why you might notice damp paw prints on a smooth surface on a particularly hot day. Finally, one of the key anatomical features that contributes to their legendary agility and ability to squeeze through impossibly tight spaces is their collarbone, or clavicle. Unlike in humans, where the collarbone is a large, rigid bone that connects the shoulder blade to the sternum, a cat's clavicle is a tiny, free-floating vestige of a bone, not connected to any other part of the skeleton. This disconnected structure allows the cat's shoulder blades to move with incredible freedom, enabling them to compress their bodies and pass through any opening that is large enough for their head to fit through. It is a simple but profound piece of anatomy that unlocks a world of movement and access. A perfect example of how every part of the feline form is exquisitely adapted for a life of stealth, grace, and survival. The intelligence and adaptability of the domestic cat are qualities that humans have sought to harness for millennia, not only for practical purposes like pest control, but also for the sheer novelty and challenge of it. While they are often characterized as being more independent and less eager to please than dogs, cats are remarkably trainable creatures. With patience and the right motivation, usually in the form of positive reinforcement with treats or praise, they can learn a surprising variety of behaviors. One of the most ambitious and ultimately practical of these is toilet training. A number of commercially available kits and step-by-step methods have been developed to gradually transition a cat from using a litter box to using a human toilet. This process, which involves slowly moving the litter box closer to the toilet and then placing a special training device inside the bowl, leverages the cat's natural instinct to bury its waste in a designated spot. While not every cat will take to it, the success of many demonstrates a cognitive flexibility and a willingness to adapt to the peculiar habits of their human companions that is truly remarkable. This capacity for learning and adaptation has, on at least one occasion, prepared a cat for a journey far beyond the confines of a human home. In 1963, at the height of the space race, French scientists launched a cat into suborbital space. Her name was Félicette, and she was a small black and white feline plucked from the streets of Paris. After undergoing extensive training, including sessions in a centrifuge to simulate the G-forces of a rocket launch, she was strapped into a special capsule atop a Veronique AGI rocket. She soared to an altitude of 100 miles, or about 161 kilometers, above the Earth, experiencing several minutes of weightlessness before her capsule successfully parachuted back down. Félicette survived the journey, becoming the first and, to this day, the only cat to have traveled to space, a reluctant but significant pioneer in the history of astronautics. While the story of Félicette is one of solitary courage, cats in their natural state often exist in complex social groups. We know a group of domestic cats is called a clowder, but when wild cats, such as lions, band together, they are known by a far more dramatic and evocative name: a destruction. This term, while perhaps sounding overly menacing, likely refers to the immense destructive power that a coordinated group of large predators can unleash upon their prey and their environment. It is a powerful reminder of the raw, untamed nature that is the ancestral root of all feline species. Our fascination with organizing and categorizing these creatures led to the establishment of the first formal cat show, a landmark event in the history of the cat fancy. It was held at the Crystal Palace in London in 1871, organized by the artist and cat enthusiast Harrison Weir. This inaugural event, which featured a variety of exotic and domestic breeds, was a resounding success, drawing huge crowds and elevating the status of the cat from a mere mouser to a creature of aesthetic beauty and distinguished pedigree. It marked the beginning of the modern era of cat breeding and competitive exhibition, a world dedicated to perfecting and celebrating the diverse forms of the feline. This celebration of their form must also acknowledge its limitations. As we have seen, the feline jaw is a highly specialized tool, capable only of a hinge-like up and down motion. This anatomical constraint means that cats are physically unable to chew large pieces of food in the way that an omnivore or herbivore can. They cannot grind their food from side to side to break it down. Instead, they must use their sharp carnassial teeth to shear off bite-sized pieces of meat that can be swallowed whole. This is why it is crucial that their food, whether it is commercially prepared or provided as a treat, is of an appropriate size to prevent the risk of choking. This physical development begins in kittenhood, and one of the most charming transformations in a young cat's life is the changing color of its eyes. All kittens are born with blue eyes. The irises of a newborn kitten have not yet begun to produce melanin, the pigment that is responsible for determining the final adult eye color. As the kitten matures, typically over the course of the first 3 months of its life, the melanin production kicks in, and the eyes will gradually shift to their permanent color, which can range from green and gold to orange and copper. Only in certain breeds, such as the Siamese or Ragdoll, does the genetic quirk that limits pigmentation result in the retention of those beautiful blue eyes into adulthood. As they grow, cats also develop a distinct preference for one paw over the other, a phenomenon known as paw preference. Just like humans are typically right-handed or left-handed, cats have a dominant paw that they will preferentially use for tasks that require dexterity, such as reaching for a toy, swatting at an object, or testing the temperature of their water. This subtle trait is another window into the complex lateralization of their brains. Their behavior is a constant source of wonder, and one of their most common activities is grooming. A cat will spend a significant portion of its waking hours meticulously cleaning its fur, a behavior that serves multiple purposes. It removes dirt, loose hair, and parasites, but it is also a primary method of regulating body temperature. As the saliva evaporates from the fur, it creates a cooling effect, similar to human sweating. This constant licking is made possible by a tongue covered in tiny, backward-facing spines called papillae, which act like a built-in comb. It is a highly efficient system, guided by a sense of smell that is, as we know, 14 times more powerful than a human's. This acute olfactory ability is what allows a cat to detect the faintest traces of prey, rivals, or potential mates. It may also be the source of another of their more mysterious and legendary abilities: the supposed capacity to sense earthquakes and other natural disasters before they occur. While not scientifically proven, there is a wealth of anecdotal evidence suggesting that cats behave erratically just before a seismic event. It is theorized that they may be sensitive to subtle changes in the Earth's magnetic field, or perhaps they can feel the faint tremors that precede a major quake, vibrations that are far too subtle for humans to perceive. This potential sensitivity is a fitting final testament to the enigmatic nature of the cat, a creature that walks with us in our world, but remains forever attuned to a deeper, more subtle reality. And so, our story of the quiet walker comes to a gentle close. 100 whispers of truth, from the ancient sands of Egypt to the familiar comfort of a sunlit patch on the floor, have all been told. The creature at the heart of our story is, above all, a master of rest, an animal that spends the better part of its life in the pursuit of peaceful slumber. Perhaps it is time to follow its lead. The narrative is complete now. Let the facts and figures dissolve, leaving only a feeling of quiet wonder. Let the images of soft paws and knowing eyes fade into the landscape of your own dreams. There is only the stillness of the room now, the gentle rhythm of your own breath, and the deep, quiet comfort of the night that awaits. Thank you for listening. Sleep well. Sweet dreams.